And we're live. You can't just slap a plaster on a broken leg. If you jump on live, come and say hello. If you're watching the replay, please leave a hashtag replay and share any thoughts that you may have. So you cannot just slap a plaster on a broken leg. A common reason that many people come to yoga, breathwork, meditation is they're looking to reduce levels of stress they're experiencing. And by and large, that will happen. But a problem that often occurs if you always look to reduce stress as opposed to learn to be okay with certain levels of stress is we bump into what I discussed with you yesterday. We bump into that point where we flinch. So somewhere along the line, we have to learn that just trying to reduce stress isn't going to take us to often where we're trying to get to. Sometimes we need to look at actually cultivating more resilience, developing more of the ability to deal with what life throws at us. Because let's face it, no matter how much work we do, life is always going to throw shit at us. So let's have a look at how is stress not necessarily a bad thing. So often when we're talking about or looking at stress, we're talking about cortisol. Now, cortisol is actually what starts to spike a little bit to wake you up in the morning. Cortisol is created when we move into a new experience to boost our immune system. So it has a lot of benefits. So if we're always looking to just reduce it, it does unfortunately result in us not developing more of an ability to deal with challenges, to deal with difficulties that may appear, that may arise in our life. So how can we look at actually developing more resilience? Because I'm not advocating here that you push yourself to a point of just burning out. Although it could be argued that for many people, their greatest insights or discoveries are found when they sort of have their greatest challenges. Another way I've heard it shared was pain screams loudest when it's dying. Pain screams loudest when it's dying. That often ways of dealing with things start to kind of be let go of when we enter into a space where we're kind of just exhausted, where kind of life's got the better of us for a little while. It's usually then that we recognize, okay, I may need to change some of my ways of dealing with things. So how do we actually look at building more resilience? So as I mentioned yesterday, we start to learn to just lean into that flinch point, to test it, to just take those little steps into it. And what that will do is each time we do it, we're going to get more information and learn how to deal with it next time. But that's more of a conceptual thing. I don't know how that appears for you. So let's look at some more practical ways of doing it. Cold showers, really useful. If the first thing you do in your day is deal with something that is quite challenging and you learn to be okay with that, think of how many areas of your life that learning to be okay with something that was a little bit tricky for you can be transferred. It's a highly transferable skill to just learn to be okay with something that feels immediately like, I don't want to deal with this. Because there's lots of situations where that can appear. I'm sure you can recognize that yourself. Sometimes it will just be a conversation that brings that up. Sometimes it will be a physical pursuit. It could be anything, but there are lots of things that will show us that flinch point. And that's where the development of resilience enables us to keep exploring that. Within a yoga practice, we're taking ourselves into an experience of sensations and feedback that sometimes they can be challenging. They can be a bit overwhelming. And so we learn through the vehicle of the breath to become okay with that. Again, a highly transferable skill. An experience that on some level you could say is difficult, challenging, overwhelming. We learn, I can be okay with that. Again, a highly transferable skill, something we can take into lots of areas of life. Meditation is useful. Yes, we have the component of meditation that enables us to kind of not get tangled up in the triggers that create stress. But also along the line, what often happens is people will bump into old stories they're carrying around that actually bring up emotion. And when you learn to become okay with that, again, a highly transferable skill, because it means your zone of experience is starting to expand. You're no longer trying to stop yourself at a point like, oh, no, I don't want to feel that. Don't want to deal with that. You're allowing yourself to move more and more and more. So you can't just stick a plaster on a broken leg. Sometimes we need to work on developing more resilience in order to move into those spaces we say we wish to experience. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.